And football in its purest form is about the trophy. That trophy that we will be revealing to you very shortly. Stay with us and welcome if you are just arriving. And speaking of welcomes, let me give you the man who will be giving us the welcome officially. And he is the MD and CEO of TotalEnergies Marketing South Africa and country chair for Namibia and Eswatini, Mr. Oloboke Aluko. Please give him a warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen in the room.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Good afternoon, welcome, distinguished guests, to this historic event. My name is Johannesburg, I'm the MD and CEO of TotalEnergies South Africa. I'm also the Executive Vice President for Southern Africa. It is really a privilege to be here today with you, and it's a privilege for many reasons. Last year, TotalEnergies celebrated 100 years of its existence. Last year we celebrated 90 years of being in Africa and 70 years of being in South Africa. We are, and we will be known as the responsible broad energy company. Because of the responsible way we conduct our business, develop resources, because of the strength of our operational assets, we are the partner of choice on this continent. Because of our ability to listen to our customers, to our stakeholders, and to our host communities, as well as forge long-lasting relationships with them. In 2016, TotalEnergies signed a sponsorship agreement with CAF. And this year we renewed it for another 4 years. This reflects our commitment to supporting the development and growth of football on this continent. As part of this partnership, we are here today at our head office in Johannesburg for this event to unveil, to reveal the TotalEnergies CAF African Nations Champions League trophy. I pronounce it right? It is with pride, it is actually with pride that we associate with this trophy. It represents really the unbreakable spirit that characterizes African football. And you know, it's even beyond revealing the trophy, it's about celebrating the momentum that brings millions of Africans together. TotalEnergies shares this energy, this enthusiasm. That is why we are firmly behind African football, behind the football players, women or men, behind each action, each celebration, on the field with the fans. So with that being said, let's make the most of this experience. Let's make it unforgettable. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Mr. Aluko for those warm words, and we can't wait to see what it is that has been put together under that black, what do you call it? Like sheet, right? The TotalEnergies CAF Champions League trophy. Now, I need to make an adjustment here because clearly we're not the same height, and just need to bring it down a little bit. However, there was a lot that you said that was so vitally important, and when we talk about the success of TotalEnergies, that success goes hand in hand with the success that we see and the growth in African football. That's the conversation we need to have, because it has been tremendous, and I've been fortunate to be a witness of that throughout my time on the World of Champions and involved in football. So to have a conversation where we talk a little bit about the incredible growth of African football, I'm going to welcome up a panel, an esteemed panel, a panel of experts when it comes to African football. I'm going to need you in the room to give them a warm welcome, because we want to get the warmth of Africa in them and get a sense of how massive that growth has been. And I'm going to start first and foremost by welcoming them up onto the stage, Mr. Hassan El-Kamar, who is the CAF Commercial Director. Give him a hand, please. Thank you very much, sir. Next, even louder welcome, please, because she is the only woman who will be on our panel, and an incredibly powerful woman at that. Jessica Mudawung, the Deputy Chairperson of the African Club Association. Thank you. And then football fans, the names I'm going to bring to you next need no introduction, but I'll do it anyway, starting first and foremost with Lucas Radebe, 1996 TotalEnergies Africa Cup of Nations winner. Thank you very much, Ru. And then, absolutely last but not least, it is Teko Modise, 2016 TotalEnergies CAF Champions League winner. Yes, everybody, welcome each other. Warm greetings. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. So, the conversation we're about to have, the panel, and to those of you watching across the continent, the growth and success of African football. For those of us who work in it, we know that that's the case. But for the rest of us, let's have this conversation. I'm going to start with you, Hassan, if you don't mind. And that is that when we talk about the president of CAF and the vision that he has brought for African football, how today can we speak about that vision and how it is being reflected out on the field? You know, the competitiveness and the self-sustaining nature that he would like to see in African football. Are we achieving that?
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank TotalEnergies, our title sponsor, for hosting us, and it's such a great event and host. So thank you for hosting us. I think back to your question, I think this is more than just a trophy reveal. This is part of a journey and a powerful message that we have been working on for the last few years since our president, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, came on board. And the vision is to keep elevating the brand and keep elevating the competitions to be a world and top class level. And you will see today, and I think in the last 4 seasons, if you watch our club competitions, you have seen already the development in terms of TV production, in terms of branding, in terms of identities. We have changed the identities for many of our competitions, and as I said, this is just the beginning. There's still big room to develop for sure, but the trophy today is, we maintained the historical part of it, so we kept the shape of the iconic trophy that all the fans and the people love, but we elevated with a bit of rebranding in terms of coolness and to match the new development that we are doing. So we will expect another emblem reveal soon to keep the journey moving and to keep developing the look and feel and the branding, and to keep assisting our partners and sponsors to keep growing with us. We currently have 5 partners for the Champions League and our inter-clubs. We keep growing, and we are very excited for the next steps. Especially last season, we had over 200 million watching the Champions League, and this season we are willing to push at least 30-40%, and we will keep growing. So thank you very much.
So confirmed, we're growing, and the success is growing, and African football is growing, but what is the reason? To what do you attribute this exceptional growth of African football as a global force?
I think the main force here is that the will that CAF is working on since day one is to improve the product. So when you improve the product on the TV and the fans are happy, this is the way we attract more sponsors and to attract more partners to invest with us. So part of it, TotalEnergies have done a great job with us in the last few years, and all these financials that we get, it's always going back to develop football. So the more investments we receive, we keep developing the TV production, the identities, and even our players and coaches can see this on the field by improving the infrastructure, because I think it's a main tool that we need to work on as well on the way going forward.
All right, Lucas, I want to bring you into the conversation because, I mean, you've won the TotalEnergies African Cup of Nations back in 1996. You lifted this trophy. You've witnessed this growth. You've been part of the growth of African football. But when you look back, you know, and you sort of daydream and reminisce, who are you thinking about when it comes to the growth of African football and the legend of the game yourself?
Yeah, what a great honor to be here, and privilege to be hosted by TotalEnergies and being next to the trophy itself. But yeah, I think since a long time since I've touched, you know, the trophy that for us didn't just about football, it meant a lot about who we are, our identity, and again, the pride, you know, of Africa, and hosting it at home as well. You know, it was absolutely amazing. I mean, the atmosphere, you know, getting to the games, you know, it was unbelievable. Because this is what we dream of as footballers. We want to play at the highest level and in front of the best fans that will bring color and atmosphere to the stadium. And that was that. And one thing that the fans don't understand is that, you know, with them being there, you know, they inspire us as footballers. Because the one thing that we do best, once we get into the field of play, with that kind of atmosphere, and watching and looking at the trophy, you know, it's a great aspirations, and to be honest, when we in the field of play, you know, we give 110% effort just to, you know, to enjoy not only as us as footballers, but enjoy with the fans and Africa as a whole, which is absolutely important.
But you're being shy, because at the center of this growth, Lucas, has to be footballers such as yourself, the export of those footballers. You getting the opportunity to be abroad, to showcase what Africa can bring, is part of the reason that a company like, you know, TotalEnergies wants to be part of African football.
Absolutely. I think we thank the sponsors as well for coming abroad and making football what it is. You know, because for us to get that opportunity, you know, to play abroad and participate, it doesn't only enhance our career, but the talent that we have in representing, you know, where we come from, different clubs. You know, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, to rub shoulders with the best in Africa, you know, it shows, you know, Africa coming together and showcasing the talent that we have that help, you know, I mean, get opportunity to play abroad, you know, and it's absolutely brilliant that we are who we are today with the value that we have because of the African football.
And not only do we have African footballers, Lucas, abroad, they're the best in the leagues that they're playing in abroad. They're the marquee players, and we're not going to mention other leagues right now, but we know who we're talking about. And he's African, and he's from the club that is from the country that, you know, the guys from Pyramids are here from as well. So we know what we're talking about, but we're the best, Lucas. And we're exporting that, and we're showing that to the world, and the world wants to know more about us.
Yeah, I think that's what makes football so appealing to the fans. You know, that we have our own players, that we watch, you know, playing in great competitions, you know, and increasing the boundaries on the seats in the stadiums, because, you know, we are proud of what we see, because for fans and the aspiring generation of footballers, that's what they want to be. They want to be competing, you know, for greater prizes like that. I mean, I saw in one of the pictures they were holding the trophy in one hand. I mean, but looking at this, you need the whole team to lift it. Now, which symbolizes unity, you know, and the heritage of football in in Africa.
I want to move on to Jessica McDonald, because Jessica, the work that's being done at club level at African football is tremendous. The African Clubs Association. Today's event, the launch of a brand new trophy for the TotalEnergies CAF Champions League. What does it mean?
Very exciting. Thank you to Total, and proud of the work that they're doing with CAF, and thank you for building on the relationship that you have and continuing this relationship with CAF, because it's important for the clubs. I think inter-club competitions are very, very key, and I must say it's wonderful to see clubs on the continent to talk about the growth. I think it's the growth of clubs. You know, to see the clubs grow and build their support base is very exciting. And an event of this nature is saying that the game is going to the next level. And for us as the ACA, it's critical that our clubs are growing, that we're seeing our fan base is growing, that the product is growing on television, but also through the club experiences. You know, you're seeing the match day experience being improved by clubs. And for us, it's important that investments like that of Total and other sponsors are being made into the games, so that clubs in their own right can really build on the success.
And then, Jess, you know, clubs like when there's investment. They like when TotalEnergies is digging deep into their pockets and putting investment into football. We're seeing that. And can we speak to that as being a driver for the growth of African football?
Oh, it certainly is. And I think clubs don't only want the investment, they also understand the responsibility and the work that they need to do in making sure that they deliver on the rights, they deliver on the experiences, and work collaboratively with sponsors to make sure that the game continues to grow. And for us as ACA, it's important for us to continue empowering clubs to understand how to work with the sponsors and make sure that there's value in the game. You know, and I think not just in the game, but also in the investment in their players as well.
And you know, Hassan, I want to bring you back into the conversation here, because growth of African football, investment, governance as well, that's an important role that you play in the CAF side of things. They're seeing a tremendous growth in the governance, and especially under the current president that we see in Dr. Lucas Radebe, that there is so much confidence in CAF.
This is number one objective from our president, is the good governance. Because without good governance, you have zero value. Without good governance, your partners will not trust you, the fans will not trust you, the media, all the stakeholders of the game will not trust you and invest with you. So that's why I think our leadership and under Dr. Patrice Motsepe, we have developed since day one governance to be a top-class level, and I think this now gives us the credibility to attract. I want to tell you, for AFCON, for example, till now we have 16 partners, and we are growing. We have over 185 TV broadcasters partners. Without good governance, you would never have such numbers. And again, for such a great club competition like the Champions League, I just forgot to say for sure congratulations to Pyramids and Modise for making it to the final, and great achievements. Congratulations for both clubs. So again, without this kind of policies and world-class governance, we will not be here sitting in front of you guys with our legends and our leaderships from the ACA and the club administration. So yeah, we take it very, very serious.
Just the word innovation is used all the time. And I know Hassan, when he was talking about the new trophy, the new design, the new elements that they're bringing, that's innovation. You know, these innovations, how important are they in making sure that football remains exciting and continues to grow around the world, and especially the product we're sending to the world?
No, very key, and I think with the fact that it's such a global game now, and giving access to all our supporters, I think it's very key. And it's exciting that we're having a new trophy. I think it adds a freshness to the game. Looking forward to it. I know the guys have done great work in terms of design while keeping heritage. I think it's also a way of the future in terms of bringing in a new design and saying we're looking to a new energy and a new era in terms of the game. But I think innovation across the board is necessary in terms of keeping the game fresh.
I want to bring Teko into the conversation. Teko, it's not usual that you're quiet this long in a match, but we're going to let you explode onto the conversation now. And Teko, you know, I know you haven't, or maybe you have, I don't know, seen the trophy. You haven't. Confirmed. Right? You didn't peek under the thing while we're looking away. You know? But, Teko, what do players want? You know, when they look at a trophy and when they lift a trophy, what are they looking for?
I think the first thing that the players want is to put their names in the history of winning such a magnificent trophy. I mean, you have so much history, you know the teams that have won it before, and you know how difficult it is to actually get into the final. You don't mind winning it. And once you're there, the first thing that you want to do, you want that iconic picture of yourself lifting the trophy and to be able to tell your story. So that's what players play for. You want to win trophies. You want to be in the podium coming into the season. And we know as well that because in the beginning as well for us when we still played, it was not a competition that we were most interested in because we didn't know much about it. But once you start playing and getting exposed to it, now you realize the importance of winning or even participating in such. Because as footballers, many footballers will never have an opportunity to play the national team. But the CAF as well gives that opportunity, that experience to go to participate, and not only just participate, but play against the best in the continent. So players actually want to always play against the best.
And the winning of the TotalEnergies CAF Champions League, Lucas, sorry you're out of this conversation. You're close to the trophy, right? You know, Teko knows what that's all about.
Yeah.
How difficult is that journey? You know, even when you compare it, you've done the national team as well, when you compare it to a national team experience, winning it with your club, is it difficult? Is it harder?
It's very, very difficult. That's why when winning it becomes such a milestone, because then you're participating and playing against teams that you normally don't participate against. And then with the planning as well, you're traveling as well, and knowing as well as then how long this season becomes. And also it just helps you as well as a footballer to elevate your game because then you're competing against the best and you want to beat them. And also the challenges as well of facing ultra fans. I think that's the biggest challenge because in South Africa we have fans that are you'll see a Pirates fan and the Chiefs fans sitting together. When you travel to Africa, you face the South African team to actually get that challenge, that feeling that you know you are an away team coming into a country that you're not supposed to win or they don't want you to win. And those are difficulties, those are challenges that comes with just participating in such a big tournament.
Jess, I saw you nodding when the discussion came about how difficult, and you wear many hats, right? So one of the hats you wear is being a director at a club that will be participating in next year's season's intercontinental competitions, and you're nodding. It's hard.
We've played in Morocco, we've played in Egypt, and it can be quite challenging. But at the same time, I do want to say what's really great about what CAF has done right now is to make it a lot easier financially. First of all, for clubs who are participating, they've got the Solidarity Fund to make sure that actually the clubs have the financial resources, first and foremost, to be able to prepare in the prelims, which is very important. And I think that'll make it a lot easier. Secondly, obviously raising the prize money. So thank you to Total again, and by 100%. So that investment is great. But certainly there are a lot of challenges. You know, one of the things that we need to do as Africans is to collaborate. Some of the challenges are training facilities, and, you know, some of the shenanigans that happen in the game when clubs don't have access to things. And I think clubs are starting to mature and understand to improve in terms of those kind of things that get done. But it is challenging and very intimidating in terms of going into territories where you don't maybe have a big support base and have to play against these ultra fans. But we've seen that we also have fans here in South Africa who also stand up for our teams.
All right, guys, we're about to end the conversation. However, I'm going to give you a final opportunity, Teko and Lucas, from a player's perspective, because we love watching the players, right? What's important that you feel is still needed or we can still work on to continue this phenomenal growth of African football? Lucas, they gave you the stage. You didn't see. There was a little signal that said the senior player goes first.
No, I think for us it's important that we have our own clubs, participating in these competitions. to relevant performance. And I think the most important thing is the fans, to get the fans to understand, what is this all about, especially in the perspective where the players had to go through, Jessica was saying, the hardship of traveling, organizing a perfect preparation, for such a hard games, for such a period of time. Teko alluded in terms of the amount of games that they play as players. We have to make sure that the stadiums where we play, where we train at, up to standard, which I think for most of what we need, from this is to improve as clubs and as a country in terms of stadiums and some of the resources.
And that's at the heart, Hassan, of what CAF are doing, right? Making sure that the players have the best facilities possible to give us the best entertainment possible.
100%. I think this is one of our top priorities, is to keep developing infrastructure and stadiums. Now we have developed also the stadium licensing program, which is a huge program in CAF, that we make sure that all the stadiums are up to standards, and we encourage and push the governments also to support, because this is also a big part they play with us, because alone we can't do it. With our partners, governments, everyone involved, these are the top priorities, because if the players are not comfortable, the product will not be good. The players are our heroes, the coaches are our heroes, so they need to be comfortable to be able to translate this into a commercial product for our sponsors.
And did we understand that Lucas's knees were not great in his playing days, so good surface was very important for him, and the players now have that good surface. For you, what's critical to make sure that we continue to grow the game? And it's always interesting to hear it from a player's perspective, and in your case, a former player's perspective.
I think the importance of developing footballers at a young age, for them to getting exposed to such privileged tournaments, and to continue, and also maybe being able to keep our own players as well, to strengthen our teams, to be able to participate and compete with the best of the continent. Because I think that's important for you to be able to go further into the tournament and go to the finals. You need to be able to have the best players that you can, because if you can, the financial backing as well that TotalEnergies is putting in, it helps you then be able to sign top players to come into the team and help you progress further. So I think from that, it's just having that development structure, making sure that you have players, enough players to be able to continue and be the best that you can.
One of the things that, and this is going to be a controversial question, guys, but I need you to be with me on this one. I already mentioned players abroad and the exporting of players versus keeping players on the African continent. Which one is the one that we should be striving for? Because we know when we export, we grow, right? People see us. But if we keep here domestically on the continent, does it not make it even more exciting to watch the TotalEnergies CAF Champions League? Jess, I see your mind is racing.
I think it's a combination, and we want to have strong leagues. We want players play to their fans, to their local fans, but at the same time we want to create a pathway, an international pathway, so we can also have ambassadors on the world stage. So I think it's doing both. It's not either or. But I do think it's important, and I love the work that we are doing with CAF as well in terms of youth development and making sure that clubs have academies and also investing in youth competitions. But certainly I think it's important for our players to also be playing on the world stage and representing our continent. So I think a combination is key.
Hassan?
I completely agree with Jessica. It's a combination, because also our players abroad are our ambassadors, and they give also inspiration to the young kids to play. When we see Hakimi is playing final Champions League, when we see Salah winning Premier League, these are all our talents and inspiration. So I think it's a mix of both, as Jessica is saying, 100%. We just need to keep the balance of both.
And the other thing that we've seen happening, and both you and Jess and Hassan, the television side, that's the part I'm very passionate about, the broadcast side, the streaming side. This has been a major growth and massive, I think, in developing and growing football. Is that just my perspective because I happen to sit on television, or is that the case?
Case. I mean, we've seen it in our local league, and what the broadcast product, how the broadcast product has improved, how it's bringing commercial partners into the space. It's making the game a lot more accessible, and the great partnerships that CAF has brought on board to make sure that the product is developed is very rich.
I mean, Teko, imagine 200 million people are now watching the CAF Champions League. Imagine 200 million people seeing the Navigator navigate, man. You were a little bit too soon in terms of your victory in 2016.
It was the right time, actually. It wasn't too soon. I mean, we know the difficulties of winning such a prestigious tournament, and I remember vividly as well that we were knocked out and we had to go back again and be able to play and facing those new challenges. And for us as a team, we were actually at the time like all the team, like so many senior players within the team itself. So it was the right time, and I strongly believe as well that with the teams that Modise and have, the younger ones, they are actually in a good position to be able to maybe write their own history in this tournament.
All right, guys. I appreciate your input. I think the continent is a little bit wiser, and we can see the football is in the right hands. The growth is there. Is there a final word, Hassan, that you'd like to put out before we reveal the trophy to the continent for the TotalEnergies CAF Champions League?
I think we are very excited about this one, and congratulations for both teams for making it to the final, and thanks for our host. We're looking forward to continue the journey and to continue the development of football in Africa. And this is, as I said, it's just the beginning. You will see more trophy reveals and identities and partnerships, and we will keep growing.
That's Hassan Al-Kamar, CAF Commercial Director. Jess, your final word. And also, what are you expecting? You're the most stylish person on the stage, right? So, when it comes to style and what's underneath the sheet there, we need for guidance from you.
No, I'm expecting a stylish trophy. I trust the team, but just congratulations to the teams. Good luck this weekend, and certainly just rooting for African clubs to continue growing, and look forward to making sure we continue to fly the flag and make our properties a lot bigger, to grow and to make the game bigger.
That's Jessica Mutamo, Deputy Chairperson of the African Clubs Association, a winner of the TotalEnergies Africa Cup of Nations. Lucas Radebe, also Global Ambassador. You're still working, you're still growing the game, you're still pushing the growth of African football.
We're not retired.
You aren't. They're not slowing you down, the operations and the injuries.
No. I mean, we can be proud of the injuries as well. Because I think we got injured doing what we love most and what got us to who we are today. But I think for the up-and-coming generation, I think the future looks great. And I've never had such anticipation for such a great game coming out from the fans, the atmosphere, the outside.
What are you anticipating? Amazing. What are you anticipating? There is a final coming up on Saturday, the first leg of it, and it's live across the continent to hundreds of millions.
We normally don't have that privilege of hosting such great teams like Premiers, in our home grounds. And for the fans, this is absolutely not just for the Sundowns fans, but for the fans in the country, to come and celebrate with them, the achievement. Not yet winning, but I think there's a possibility, that we might see this trophy. Hopefully, around the country.
That's the thing about the TotalEnergies CAF Champions League, Teko. It doesn't only come with a trophy, it comes with a star of a jersey. It comes with the legacy of foreverness. You will forever be that, and it will be forever part of the club's jersey.
So the football, you want to be able to have said that I contributed in club history. And it's such an important thing, and it's also for bragging rights as well. To put that star on the t-shirt and say that I was part of the team that actually achieved such a magnificent trophy. So it is very, very, very important. So we're just hoping for a beautiful game, and not just two teams that are just playing, also representing their countries as well. South Africa, South Africa, Paris representing Egypt as well. So we're very, very interested to see how the two leagues are going to go.
Thank you very much. That's Teko Modise, 2016 TotalEnergies CAF Champions League winner. To our panel, I thank you very much for the conversation. And yes, African football is growing and I love it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Lucas, you're going to remain on the stage, but to the rest of our panel, thank you very much. We appreciate your contribution. And yes, give them a warm house. Lots of powerful insights coming through there as far as that was concerned. But now we're getting closer. We're getting to that moment where it's time to see what it is that's been cooking in the background when it comes to the new trophy that is behind me. I can't wait for that. We're almost there. Before we go too far, I just want to acknowledge the presence of the President of the South African Football Association, Dr. Daniel John. You've been here since the beginning. We appreciate your presence. I see you've just taken your seat in the front to get a little bit closer view of the brand new trophy. So, we are there, Lucas. We are there. And I would like you to do the honors of showing Africa what the brand new TotalEnergies CAF Champions League trophy looks like. And the hashtag is a simple one. It's hashtag TotalEnergies CAF CL. This is where you'll be able to give your verdicts on what you see. Lucas, please. I need drum roll music. I need something here, Lucas. This is it.
Absolutely. Thomas, I'm shaking. I can't wait to review this. Absolutely brilliant. It looks brilliant.
Sneak peek, you want to have a quick look? Just make sure that everything looks okay.
It looks absolutely wonderful. And hopefully, this will bring a beautiful game, on Sunday. And everybody will be happy to see that.
That is magnificent. Ladies and gentlemen, please give the blue trophy, the TotalEnergies CAF Champions trophy a massive hand. I see it's grown.
Very modern.
It went to the gym.
Very modern.
More muscles. It's a bigger trophy.
Amazing.
I love it. Now, to get a sense, right, of the thoughts of this, let's continue this. And please, again, a warm hand, ladies and gentlemen. The blue trophy is here. No. I need to find permission there. I'm sure the rules apply. You have to have won it and all of those things before you get to touch it. And Lucas, unfortunately, you haven't won it. So, to tell us a little bit more about it, I'd like to welcome up on the stage the CAF Director of TV and Communications, Nkolo September Lux. If you could please make your way up and give him a hand, ladies and gentlemen. A lot to talk about here. It's beautiful, first of all. Congratulations on a magnificent trophy. Take me through this journey. And you can tuck in, come a bit closer. People need to see you. Tell me a little bit more about it.
Yeah, first of all, Thomas, before I get to this, I must thank TotalEnergies, Mr. Alugo. Thank you so much for keeping the promise to activate our partnership. Thank the President. I must thank the CEO of Pyramids, the coach, the club, the Melody Sundowns, ACA, the legends here, Tshabalala, who scored that magnificent goal is here. So really great to see everyone here. I mean, when I saw the media that is here, the number of people that are also outside, I knew instantly that African football is on the right path. Because before you struggled to get anyone to be interested in African football. But right now, I mean, the AFCON was watched by over 1.5 billion people globally and 2.4 billion streams. Now it shows that the confidence that the likes of TotalEnergies and a lot of our partners have, be it TuneNet and others, the trust of the product is in good hands. Anyway,
no, before you go, because now you've off-ramped and I want you to come back and comment on the trophy, but I want to start with a little bit of admin around it.
Yes.
Why? I watched the throwback videos, I watched the history, and I can see the guy holding it in one hand, and it was maneuverable. In an age where we want everything to fit in our pocket, you've gone bigger.
I actually got goosebumps when I watched the video, the throwback video of where we have been in the journey that we have been. There was a huge debate in the office, and we actually spent a lot of money on research on how should the new trophy look like. Because the president of CAF, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, told us, guys, we need to modernize football in Africa. Everyone who's watching the UEFA Champions League, and who's watching the CAF Champions League, must not see the difference. And one of the things I remember, he called me, Samson, and Hassan, he said, guys, the current trophy is too small, it's too ugly, we'll make it nice. But at the same time, we did a lot of research. We spent months on research. How should the trophy look like? I know that there was a lot of people who were pushing for a radical change, but there was a strong feeling that we must keep to the tradition. But we must improve, we must modernize, give it a nice modern look. Now, so you can see that before there was no base. I mean, when Trump won it, he was lifting it with his one hand. I'm telling you now, he's going to have a big muscle to do this. So it's got a new base, a lot of detail, with a lot of touch of gold at the top. The previous trophy was probably this size, I think. So you can see that what we've done is not just make it bigger, we've given a big, nice, modern look. So when you're looking at other global competitions, I mean, we commission an international agency to give us working a lot with our amazing team internally at CAF, to give us the look and feel of this, and this is the end product.
Guys, I'm going to stay with you. I've got broadcasters who are telling in my ear that they need to take a quick break because, you know, when it's the commercial side of things, they've seen the trophy. Now it's time to make the money and have the viewers hooked on seeing the trophy. So we're going to go to a quick break with those broadcasters who are leading us, and then we'll welcome you back to the conversation very shortly.
Bold, and I think with the game, you know, evolving so quick. I mean, this trophy that symbolizes that. And as well the heritage, you know, of African football, the talent that we have in Africa. And absolutely, I think teams now and players would like to have this in the cabinet and take pictures. The captain was to take pictures with this trophy. Absolutely amazing.
So you were taking me through some of this, and Lux. Okay, the detail, I hadn't really noticed that it didn't have a base, but now I see that. So is this where names are going to go? Or is there something that goes below that even there?
No, 100%. Actually, one of the things is that we're actually engraving all the names of the previous winners in this competition. For clarity, the first people who are going to win this trophy is the team that wins the Champions League, the TotalEnergies CAF Champions League. The first leg is on Saturday at Loftus Stadium, and then afterwards we all move to Pyramids at the 30 Jones Stadium. Whoever emerges as the winner out of these 2 rounds will actually live for the first time. That means that Alaki keep the previous trophy. They're lucky for them. They don't have an opportunity now to, of course, but they're the big giants. So whoever contests, whoever wins between Mamelodi Sundowns and the Pyramids will keep this trophy. And then they will have their first name at the top. And obviously at the back, we honor the history. In front, we look forward.
And then, are there meanings to some of the elements that we see in the trophy?
Yeah.
You know, there's always somebody who says, I spent many days, many months thinking about every shape, design, line. What are the meanings here?
Yeah, I was actually talking to one of our designers, the other day, asking him.
I'm going to cut you off for a second, though, because I know my broadcasters are coming back from the ad break and they want you to give that perspective. So I want to welcome back all our viewers that had to leave us for a short break, and you come back just in time for Lux September to give us the designer's perspective, the thought process that went into the redesign and what it all means.
I think at the core of this is the fact that African football, we've got to think global and act local. What it means is that we're obviously looking at the best practice in the world, but at the same time, we're keeping what works for us at the same time. And I think, again, 4 years ago when the new president of CAF came, Dr. Lucas Radebe, he said African football must be globally competitive and self-sustaining. What it meant is that we needed to change as well the look of our competition. Earlier on, we spoke about the product, the TV product. Before, you would watch the TV match, of course, it's your team that is playing, but it's not what it should be. But then we can't compare ourselves with the best in the world if the product is not what it should be. So this trophy, it represents us honoring the past because of how we kept the shape. I know when Orlando Pirates won, it was a completely different thing and other teams before that. But at the same time, it's looking forward. It's looking at some of the best trophies in the world and getting the inspiration from all these trophies. So that's basically some of the detail that is involved in it. And I must tell you, it's very heavy. I couldn't lift it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I was not allowed to see it, but I was allowed to feel it.
So you know when you do that, you tempt us to, for somebody here to pick it up and find that out.
I think they've got gloves or something like that.
So we can't do that.
Hassan is the police there, so you cannot.
I'd like to call up Mr. Lugo. Mr. Lugo, if you could please come back up to the stage, sir. And I'd like to have a little conversation, take my position on this side, and, you know, this partnership with CAF. Lux, please come closer. All of you need to talk. Because 3 months ago, there was a renewal of the partnership between TotalEnergies and CAF, and now we see a brand new trophy. The importance of that, gentlemen, and the process towards leading to this moment. Oh, sorry, sir.
Like I said, like I said, we've been on this continent for 90 years. It's a very important continent to TotalEnergies. Football is extremely important to the continent as well. The values it brings, we share. And for us, it was a great privilege to have the partnership and to have it renewed.
Beautiful trophy, Lux, the partnership, the renewal, the strength, the investment, it's all starting to show fruit.
I mean, I remember the day in Tanzania when Dr. Modise and the CEO of TotalEnergies signed the new partnership in Tanzania. I mean, they spoke a lot, the CEO of TotalEnergies spoke a lot about the commitment to the continent. And spoke a lot about the fact that, I mean, for the first time what we have now is that every cent that the sponsors pay, they spend in football, goes back to football because of the highest standard of governance, ethical conduct, and also the investment in football. I mean, when I think Mamelodi Sundowns won this trophy, that's about just under $2 million, probably just a little bit under that. But now, if I convert it in rands, if you win it, you get 80 million rands. And that kind of great bonuses whoever wins it around that time. So the money that has been invested by all our partners is going back to the clubs because we've got to develop the clubs. We've got to develop the clubs. But I must also take this time to thank the broadcasters, be it SuperSport or Bein Sport, Canal Plus, and a lot of our partners, Azam, SABC, for their investment because they are not just showing the product, they are actually investing a great deal of money in ensuring that our product is competitive and amongst the best in the world.
Now, before I get Mr. Lucas' perspective on the new trophy that I think you're in huge part responsible for paying for, let's take a look at a close-up view of this magnificent new trophy. Right, so it looks beautiful, and Mr. Luku, your view, and how long ago were you able to have a look and view and see and potential lift of this trophy?
Well, first and foremost, it looks great, I think. It looks well designed. It looks like a lot of thought went into it. It represents what it should represent. It's really an amazing trophy. I would say it does really look heavy as well. So, as said earlier, the winners of this trophy should have done a lot to deserve to win it. But obviously, they will need a lot of energies to carry it. No, it's an amazing trophy, and I think it was well crafted.
Well, the hashtag is hashtag TotalEnergies CAF CL. Tell us your views. What do you think of the brand new trophy that you're seeing here? Lucas, I need your final perspective here. Give me a sense of what you're feeling, what it makes you feel, what it brings out in you to see the redesign. And do you miss the old one?
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. I'm proud as well, to build it here in South Africa and the way the African football is evolving, and contributing it as well. We don't forget about the fans, the impact that it has, when the fans and the people, the much loving football people, I mean, with the national team, I know, Danny, remember when they run out with the star, you cannot be so proud. I mean, sometimes, possibly want to add another one. That would actually be a great representation, especially in South Africa.
Pyramids are a reasonably new club. To have a star on that jersey would be an amazing look for a club that has a brand new history. And I'd like to welcome back our viewers across the continent. Some of them with those broadcasters did leave us for a few seconds there. But Lucas, now let us wrap this up. This conversation needs to come to an end. We need to start getting to the business of playing for the trophy on Saturday. But in view of that, Lux, when we play for this, and the teams that will compete for it, and hopefully they will compete for it forever, is it one of these trophies that will stay in CAF's hands forever? Or if I win it 3 times, I get to put it in my cabinet and we're here again in a couple of years to do another redesign?
When you asked that, I saw the coach of Pyramids looking at you very closely because it's like, I need to hear the answer on this, you know. By the way, Ray, thank you so much for being here. I know you've got a training this afternoon. Really thank you for being here and really enjoying that you get a first look at the trophy. You might or might not win, I don't know. Good luck to everyone else. I think what's important is here is that there is obviously a culture that CAF will keep this original big one, but everyone else who wins as part of the tradition will keep obviously their own trophy, which will be a design as heavy, as good looking as this one. So again, we are here today for history really, because I don't think in the history of CAF we've ever actually had a public trophy reveal. We've got one now for the CAF Champions League, TotalEnergies CAF Champions League, and secondly, the clubs that are participating are part of this history. And I think right now, one of the things, one of the things that we must all be proud of is that we are actually telling our story as African people. We're not waiting for someone else to tell our story. Football being the most popular sport, the most powerful sport, is probably by far the easiest way to communicate to the rest of the continent and the rest of the world. Because it's a passion point for everyone who's in this room. I know everyone has got different interests who they want to win on Saturday, but we are driven by one thing. In that 90 minutes, we'll all be on our seats, edge of our seats on Saturday, cheering either Mamelodi Sundowns or Pyramids. The same thing will be repeated in Cairo when we are there, driven by passion of one thing, football.
The trophy. Lucas, is there extra motivation that is brand new, that you could be not only for your club, the very first player to bring a Champions League to that club in Pyramids' case, and for Mamelodi Sundowns, it's been 9 years since they've been able to inscribe their names on the trophy. Is there extra motivation now for the players as they run out onto the field and they see it as they run past it down the tunnel to say, hey, I want it even more?
Absolutely. I think that for the players, it's a great inspiration. You know, we want to run on the field. We leave everything on the field of play. Our knees, our ankles, our ligaments there, just to lift up this beautiful trophy and take a picture. I mean, this is inspirational, you know, to the players.
Gentlemen, please, if you could come a bit closer, come closer to the trophy. Let's get that shot in of all of you nice and close to the trophy. And I'm about to wrap things up, Mr. Oluko. If you could give us a final word. You welcomed us. If you could give us that final thank you before we say goodbye with that magnificent new trophy.
Thank you very much. You know, TotalEnergies operates in the energy space. We often say energy is life. But you know what? Football is also life. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.